I have some of the most beautiful tomatoes that I've ever seen in my life, the thing that I like to make is tomato pie. And all right, call it a pizza if you want, but it's not tomato sauce, it's sliced tomatoes. Now let's get our pizza peel. I've got this nice wooden peel here, and I'm gonna dust it with some coarse cornmeal. That's gonna give me like that brick oven kind of feel. Plus, it's gonna help it slide off this peel when I need to get it into the oven. So we'll make ourselves a little end crust by just folding the dough around, making our end crust. And now brush it with a little bit of olive oil. This will give us a nice browner crust, and while we're slicing tomatoes, it won't get a crust on it before we bake it, but coating it with a little bit of olive oil. And now some chopped garlic. I love to put chopped fresh garlic under the on top of the crust here. Just brush it in with the olive oil, and we'll set the crust aside and get our cutting board out. Now these beautiful tomatoes, I want to try and cut them in as thin slices as I possibly can, razor cut tomatoes. And the reason for this is because of that skin on there. And I have two different ways that I can do this. I've tried it in the past, is doing tomato concasse, is quickly poaching those tomatoes and skinning them. But what I've found out in the past is that adds way too much moisture and I get a very watery tomato. So I'm not going to poach them, I'm not going to skin them, I'm not going to do tomato concasse. We're going to slice them as thinly as we possibly can and shingle them out on the board like this. Now comes the time to start assembling our tomato pie, and it's as simple as bringing out our pie dough, our pie crust with the garlic and olive oil on it, and let's just lay these tomatoes out. Shingle the tomatoes around till we cover the entire crust, and now it's time to go in the oven. I have my oven as hot as it will go. It's a convection oven. I have it at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And you notice I have these stones on the bottom of the oven. You don't need a very expensive pizza stone in your house. These are quarry tiles. I think they were 25 or 30 cents each, but I keep them in the bottom of my oven all the time. So preheating my oven for an extended period of time, getting those bricks really hot, and now it's time to slide our tomato pie off that peel and into the oven. Notice that I'm baking the crust and the tomatoes first. If I were to go ahead and put that basil chiffonade that I sliced on there now, it would be obliterated. I mean, it'd be black, they wouldn't taste or smell like anything. Cheese as well, I don't want to cook the cheese that much. So just the tomatoes and the crust. Well, when I start to see the crust browning a little bit, let's take it out. Now's the time to top it with our cheese and the basil concasse, the basil chiffonade that I did, and back in the oven just to melt the cheese and combine these flavors. It only takes a few minutes and my pizza's done. I moved it up to the top rack just to crisp that crust a little bit more, but let's pull it out on a pan and time to slice it up. Ah, fresh tomato pie. Look at that. It's a beautiful pizza. Better than anything that can be delivered to you. Better than anything from the frozen grocery section. Oh, heavens no. What are you eating pizza like that for? Just imagine what the tomato taste on this pizza is with those beautiful tomatoes from Sunburst Tomatoes. Get the best ingredients, get them locally from the local farmer, and then create the best things that you can in your house. Better than the grocery and better than a guy ringing your doorbell. Tomato pie with the freshest tomatoes you can get locally.